All right, Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Malaki Washai. That is to say, Yahweh, being named the Heavenly Father, who the world will call God, and Yahweh Shai, being named His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Brother Kasadi from W. Jersey, Philly. Under the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai, we're giving another update to let you know exactly what's taking place right now in the world. As we approach toward the time of the fifth seal, as we approach closer and closer to the time of Jacob's trouble, martial law, FEMA camps, and a lot of brothers and sisters being grabbed up, sent to prison, killed, mocked, defamed for the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. These are the times that we're living in, right? We're getting closer and closer to that day officially taking place. But you see the building blocks and the things being put in position to stop this work, to shut down the building of the temple, to stop brothers from teaching His word. That's on the corners, the highways and byways, to shut down the YouTube channels, to shut down the social media accounts, to round us all up. We know Trump, he has sent military in D.C., and he federalized the police force in D.C. He did that, maybe a week or two ago, right? But now, and it was about 10 days ago, actually, right? But now, he's speaking of sending more troops to Chicago. And in fact, about 1,700 National Guard, according to Fox News, and 19 Republican-led states are set to be mobilized in the coming weeks at the request of the Trump administration to assist the Department of Homeland Security with its nationwide crackdown on illegal immigration and crime, beginning recently in Washington, D.C., that is. Documents obtained by Fox show planning for activations in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Wyoming. Right? Now notice, most of them states are in major states, right? So what do you think is going to happen if he's sending National Guard to these states? If he's sending troops to these states, what's going to happen to these major cities where chiefly, that is where brothers are teaching at, in these major strongholds of Babylon? Right? What do you think is going to happen? Let's continue on in this article real quick. It says with status effective from August through November. It says with status effective from August through November, guardsmen being mobilized will effectively serve as a support pillar to a sweeping federal interagency, right? If I pronounce that right, interagency, right? Effort, while also serving as a visible deterrent force, said an official from the Defense Department. Right, so you're seeing this is taking place at a high level. And a lot of times when they mention these so-called illegal immigrants, it's speaking about Northern Kingdom. It's speaking about the Israelites. They're doing a crackdown on the Israelites. It doesn't have to be brothers and sisters that's specifically in this truth. Jacob's trouble is the trouble in the tribulation that's going to take place upon the 12 tribes of Israel. And it's happening first, we see, to the northern tribes at a high level, right? It says the top 25 nationalities of U.S. immigrants. Mexico, then it has India, right? China, Philippines. But you got El Salvador, right? It has Cuba, Dominican Republic, Guatemala. It has Colombia. It has Honduras, right? You see the list on these names. Majority make up the so-called Hispanics, right? So-called blacks and Hispanics. So let's get some precepts on this. So we know this is supposed to happen, right? If this is news flash to you, then I don't know where you was living at. I don't know what time you thought this was going to be. Right? There's a time coming where we're going to be rounded up. Again, it shouldn't be news flash. Let's go to the book of St. Luke, chapter 21. Right? St. Luke, chapter 21, I'm going to start at verse 20. I start at 19. I start at 17. It says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not a hair of your head perish, and your patience possess ye your souls. So we got to understand that you got to have patience in the times that's about to approach on the scene. You got to be locked in. You got to be fixated on the Most High and being able to build up that tolerance to go the distance, to go the extra mile, knowing the times you living in where you might have to go that extra mile without eating, the extra mile without drinking, on a literal level. The extra mile, your feet hurting, you tired of carrying that book bag you got on your back or whatever you found somewhere at the last, 30 miles ago, and you kind of trying to make it out. You want to run, you a pilgrim. Hey, guess what, brother? The Lord saying your patience possesses you your souls. You got to be built up now, because in that time, you can't train in the midst of the battle. How does that make sense? Imagine an NBA championship is going on, and players from one team, they want to go back in the locker room and put some extra jump shots up. They want to go over some extra plays. No, they might dial certain things up on a clipboard, but that's it. That's things that they already worked on. Right? You can't. The damn team, they in the NFL Super Bowl, and they want to go back in the locker room and they want to go, go over some extra drills that they did. They should have been doing in training camp. They should have did in the preseason, the regular season. Look, it's just the final test right here. My point is, you can't be practicing in the final test. You practice before that test. Right? So reading on. It says, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies. That physically happened from 66 to 73 AD. That physically took place. But that will take place again on a spiritual level. As far as we're Jerusalem. And we will be compassed with armies. You're looking at it right now. It's literally coming to a city near you. We've been giving this warning for years now. Right through the Spirit. Right? You're going to have men like this coming to a city near you. And look at that. They're strapped up now. They not just out there with a flashlight and a baton. Right? He's been waiting for this moment. It's all his life. Childhood dream. He can run down on some Israelites. Got the shades on. Got a shade. He got shades on and he has a visor right there. They really... And I don't know if who is that? Is that Northern Kingdom? It looked like Northern Kingdom got caught up out there. Right? So this is what you're about to have to live with. And this is, like I mentioned, Trump said this is coming to Chicago. It's actually on the way to Chicago right now, as you speak. We'll get to that. But let's go back to this precept. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. What is this desolation speaking of? Right? What is this desolation talking of? Let's go to Daniel chapter 9 and 24. Right? Actually, let's get right into it. Daniel 9, and I want to get 27. Right? It's the prophecy that Daniel spoke of, right? Daniel 9:27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Who's the he? This prince. This prince is chiefly speaking about the Roman Empire that made this covenant, right, on behalf of Satan, right, to make this covenant with the nation of Israel. Who was the modern day Roman Empire? America, the so-called white man that's ruling, right, in this world right now, and so-called NATO that's joined hand in hand with America, being an extension of ancient Rome, right? 7 heads, 10 horns. So there's a covenant that's made with us in the spirit realm so that we can continue to, come out, teach the people, But in the midst of the week, it says, in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. What is the sacrifice and oblation? It's talking about the altar, our ability to serve Yahweh B'Shem Shai and waking up the elect and bringing forth these works. They're going to try to shut that down. They did it during the time of the Greeks, right? Greek captivity that we was in. During the time of Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth. They did it again during the time of the Roman Empire, 66 to 73 AD. And they're going to try to do it again. It may just be 2025 AD. It may be 2026 AD. It may be 2027 AD. But guess what? It's going to happen. It says, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. What is the thing that's determined? That the Most High allowing this to be shut down. This is going into Jacob's trouble, right? This is going into Jacob's trouble in Revelation chapter 6 and verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God. So right now, brothers are on the highways and byways, and we're teaching the people, and you may have to deal with certain aggressive scoffers. You may have to deal with that, but guess what? Soon you're going to be on the hunt. Soon you're going to be slain for teaching his word. They may have billboards plastered around. They may round a bunch of people up and say, look, we'll let you go if you go and hunt down the Hebrew Israelites. Go find them. You see them with the fringes, hey, come back. We got a reward for you. Bring them back to us. We want to ask a few questions about their God. Then they got brothers in a room and they torturing brothers and asking brothers, do they still want to serve their God, our God, the true God, the one God, Yahweh? Torturing brothers, sawing brothers' kneecaps off. Hey, brother, you're going to have to deal with that in that day, brother. And it may happen to me. They may happen to you. But you're going to have to deal with it. It says, and for the testimony which they held. What's the testimony? The spirit of prophecy. Like I tell you in the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter. You got to go through this because you hold the keys of prophecy. The Most High has entrusted you with the things that's going to happen soon in the days to come, the weeks to come, the months to come, the years to come. You understand what's going to happen next. And Esau and the spiritual demon Satan, they want to shut that down. Want to shut it down so they can continue to rule on this earth. It says, and they cry with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season unto their fellow servants also, and their brethren that should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled. So this has to be fulfilled. Now let's see what Trump is talking about.
But they're wearing hats, and we have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess.
He's talking about, he says he have total safety, security in D.C. That peace and safety. That's what he's talking about. Right? Then sudden destruction, right? That's what the Lord said, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. We see that this is continually being pushed under the realm or reign of so-called Trump. He wants to be known as the peace president, but the whole time he's the one that's making war. You got to watch this devil. He think he's conniving and deceitful, but we see right through him. Right, his red skin.
You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing.
I haven't heard any reports of the people in Chicago screaming for this. When they say that, they're screaming. Let's see what you just said.
screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies are saying...
Wow. He said African-American ladies, beautiful ladies. Hey, Trump, we're only going to give you one time. Watch your mouth when you're speaking about our women.
Please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next...
See that? I want to make a quick point, too, real quick. Let me see this real quick. If you haven't seen this movie, it's called The First Purge. This is like the fourth one they made or something like that. But it's called The First Purge, right? Let me show you real quick. I don't remember that. I remember that being a cover. It must have changed that. But anyway, yeah, there we go. Right? It's about Jake. It's about how they started the whole Purge series. I really don't remember them having a mask though, like that. That's kind of crazy. But anyway, it's about how they did it says witness the birth of an American tradition. So this is the beginning of the so-called Purge. Now, what they did was, let's read it. Let's read a little synopsis real quick. It says, it is the fourth installment in the Purge franchise. The film is a prequel depicting the origins of the annual Purge, a 12-hour span once a year in which all crime in America, including murder, the R word, and arson, is decriminalized. It originates as an experiment confined to Staten Island with the promise that those who stay on the island for its duration will be paid a large sum of money, but a new political party, the new founding fathers, is determined to get the results they want by any means necessary. Because when you watch the movie, they, not to spoil the movie, but if you saw it, you saw it. You didn't. Maybe you'll check it out. Maybe. But they try to get Jake. It's all about Jake, right? They try to get Jake to participate in it. They wasn't going down for it, and then from there they just they start killing Jake. I just put it like that. They just start killing him. Right? That was the Purge. So the whole, that was a whole plot, right? But anyway, back to it.
Next, and then we'll have to... And
Salakia, I don't know what that was right there. Salakia. So yeah, so this man Trump, he's getting more and more demonic. Right? More and more demonic. It's just showing. It's like a sense of urgency which is kicked up out of nowhere for him to, and really if you've been keeping watch, it hasn't been out of nowhere. It may feel like it's out of nowhere, but it hasn't been. See, these devils, they think in long-term plans and agendas. That's how they move. They're cunning. They spy on their enemy. They're like eagles. Eagles look afar off. And they're tracking you and they're stalking you, and then they finally make their move. This is how this devil gets down. So I wanted to provide you with this update. 1,700 National Guard is going to be deployed in these cities, 19 states, 19 different states, right? National Guard troops will soon carry weapons in D.C. This is what's going down. Trump willing to bring in regular military if needed into D.C. President says Chicago will be our next one after this. So this is not just a game. Also tonight, allegedly, if it wasn't, it might have been last night. This man Trump was on the streets patrolling in D.C. as a part of the military crackdown that he's having. So it's going down. Right, it's going down. Keep your head on the swivel in these last days. Lord willing, this is edifying. Most High willing, we give all honor and all glory to Yahweh. By Hashem, Mashakum, like it was shy. Brother Gasadi from W5 Jersey, Philly. Kwame Sharala, keep watching these last days. Shalom.